Hello my loves, welcome back. In today's video we are talking about synastry again. We are going to talk about the sun in aspect with the other person's sun, and that aspect is the opposition. In the last video we talked about the square. These two have a few similarities, but they are inherently different because one is inherently Martian, the square, and the opposition is inherently Saturnian. There is more of a feel of karma here. It's like karmic lessons that show up because we see the other and we see ourselves in the other. We don't usually know that unless we've already become aware of that, right? That the other is reflected within us and we are reflected within the other. I don't want to get too esoteric here. I want to keep it more practical, but basically that's where we're at. And when we talk about the sun, we talk about your core essence, we talk about your vitality, we talk about your purpose, your life force energy, the way you shine your light into the world. And when you have two people's light come together on two ends of the spectrum, we illuminate each other in the best and possibly also the quote-unquote worst way. In the square, we have the tension between the identities. Now, in the opposition, we are complementary, but also polarizing because we are on the other end of the pole, right? One is on one pole, the other one is on the other pole. And like I told you in the moon video, I explained that already with the opposition, that we are seeing each other clearly, full light, full on. This is full moon energy that we have with each other, right? It's fully illuminated and we see our own shadow reflected back to us in a way that we might not be ready for most of the time. We learn, right, as we grow, but often the other one is extremely triggering. And the other one is also often limiting. And I shouldn't say is limiting because it's not the other person that is limiting. There is this feeling of limitation because we are on this end and they're on the other end. And there's this possibility of like this immense, enormous growth. But we are here and the other one shining their light on the other side so brightly, it feels limiting to us, like we are limiting, but it's us that is limiting. We're limiting ourselves because we see or we sense the other one's light as a blockage for our own light. But that's where the coexistence comes in, right? We are learning to coexist here in the best way because from the perspective of the opposition, we have the full spectrum. So if we learn to coexist, not just coexist, I think we are learning to be our own individuals, right? With our own identity, strong identity, shining fully. And we allow the other to shine fully too. And together we shine even brighter, right? If we learn to dance together, right? In that way. So the core theme here is you complete me, but you also contradict me. And the attraction comes from you sensing on a very deep level that the other one completes you, but not in the sense of like, oh, I need you to be completed, but they can show me how I can be more full, right? Within myself. I can learn through them how I can be more full, how I can also tap into that energy that they show me because I have it within me. Because remember, we have all energetics within us. The whole chart wheel, all 12 signs are within us. But often we cannot tap into them in the same way because we have the sun wherever we have the sun. So if you have the sun in Pisces and your partner has the sun in Virgo, they might trigger you a lot because even though you have that Virgo energy within you, you're not shining in that light, right? You're not shining in the Virgo light, you're shining in the Pisces light. That doesn't mean that you can't tap into the Virgo energy and also utilize that Virgo energy, right? You can learn that, to do that, to let your light reach, and the other can show you that it's almost like they are lending you a hand, right? It's like they're reaching and you're reaching, and you can learn to hold each other. You can hold each other, right? It's that beautiful, but you have to understand that within yourself first, right? That all the triggers that anyone brings up within you are there to help you grow, evolve. So now, what is happening if we are with someone for a while that has the sun in the opposing sign? Well, I told you we are dealing with Saturn energy. Now, what is happening with Saturn energy? Now, what is Saturn energy? Saturn energy is the energy of timing, right? Saturn is the lord of time. So with time, there are two options here. With time, we either learn to grow and evolve, right? Alchemizing the energy that isn't serving us within us, learning what triggers us in the other, to integrate it within us. Or the other option that is less favorable is that because we cannot figure out how to utilize or use the triggers in a positive way, right? Whatever triggers us, we cannot figure out what it is within us. We are just gonna blame the other, and it's always them, it's them, and because of them, I don't live a good life, and yada, yada, yada. If that's where we are at, we gonna shrink, right? Because Saturn energy, if we are not utilizing it to grow, if we cannot find it within us, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong for this, or it's you're not a good person, or you're weak, or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. It's it's your own process, it's your own journey, and you learn whatever you learn at any given time, whatever time that is for you. Time, again, Saturn energy. So it's not good or bad. It's just understanding, okay, where am I in my life? Right? Becoming aware. Awareness is key here. Awareness is where it's at. Awareness it's really the only measure in any aspect, really, but particularly with Saturn, becoming aware of our own misconception, our own self-worth issues, which always show up with Saturn. I mean, that's really the main issue that we come across, quote unquote issue, when we deal with Saturn. It's like, am I worthy to shine fully, right? When it comes to the sun here, you're like, am I worthy to shine my light fully? And with time, it can either feel like, yes, I'm growing. It might not always be easy, and I might push myself a little more, and I go to the edge, and we're dealing with edges here, right? One edge, the other edge, right? So we're dealing with going to the edge. So we are either learning that, or we just feel like, I can't handle it, and we're shrinking, right? But again, within that, it's up to you to then learn from that, and then, rise from within again. So it's never the other, right? When we talk about synastry, when we talk about relationship, when we talk about any aspects, square, opposition, whatever aspect we're dealing with, it's never the other. It's never about the other, and it's never them. They are not the problem, right? They are just the manifestation of what you hold within the quote-unquote problem, the friction, the boundary, the limit, whatever it is within you. They are just the manifestation of it. So they are not to blame. It's not their fault, whatever they do. And I understand that things happen in relationships, right? We're not talking about this here. This is not the channel for that. This is the channel where I want you to understand that your life is in your hands. And of course, you can tell me, no, my boss this, and my boyfriend that, and my husband that, and my mother, and my this, and there, and the circumstances. But you are your circumstances. You created them. And you might not have been conscious about it, right? You might have not understood that actually it's you who created it. Because when we grow up, right, we are not aware that we are creating it, because we are learning, we are evolving, we are growing, and our parents or caregivers, they show us the world and they tell us this is how the world works, and then the government tells us this is how the world works and this is how it works in our country, and you know, all of that good stuff. But it's never about that. You, at some point in your life, have to find it within you to understand that it's all you. It's all you. And if you cannot or don't want to understand it, or you don't want to believe that, then you will always be a victim of your circumstances, right? Your circumstances, the others, the government, the this, the that, the that. So oppositions show us that in the most expansive way possible, and sometimes in the most limiting, but that then again is expansive, right? If you look at it from a different perspective, because you can expand through that, right? The limit that Saturn, you know, Saturnian energy feels so limiting. Oppositions can feel very limiting. We can see the possibility, but no, it's not possible because they are taking our light, right? The other takes our light, or whatever the other does. It's them, but it never is them. It's always you. Because this opposition can also feel like you are everything that I'm not. And that's where we set our own limit, right? But it's about us understanding that, no, they're just showing me all that I can be too, right? Like how I can expand. But I have to get over myself. I have to get to the limit. I have to get over there, right? To the other side. And sometimes the opposition can also feel like, when I go left, you go right. The lesson here really is about learning to integrate the polarity within you. Again, it's never them, it's always you. They're just reflecting you. You manifested them, quite literally, right? They're just one form of manifestation, and it doesn't feel very romantic, but it's just the way you look at it. It can feel very romantic. Right, you bring that in, you bring in the romance. It's not it that is romantic, it's you that brings that in. You know, you can make a beautiful life with them if you learn to integrate that. But you can also decide, well, they are not my person and there's someone else for me. And then with that person, you will also learn and grow, and maybe it's going to be more challenging in other ways and easy in this way, right? Because there's always lessons in learning. We just have to understand for ourselves. And I say this in every video, what do you want, right? Who are you? And is that person, that identity, right? First house energy, is that identity going to reach the goal you are having? You know, that person that you are right now is not having what you want, because having what you want requires a different identity. So you have to shift and change your identity. But again, that is also a different video, a different topic. To sum this up, when this works, right? When you make this quote unquote work, you are that yin yang duo that literally completes each other. But not in a way where I need you, I'm codependent, right? That when you have that energy, it will not work, because you will constantly trigger each other. You will constantly feel like, oh, I need them to do, like, but they're not there now, and they're, that energy, right? But when you make this work, when you integrate that, and they integrate that, which is a process, right? And it's not like, oops, and now it's there. No, it's a process. It's ongoing, because there are layers and layers and always layers to everything. But when you can make it work, it's beautiful. It really feels like the most expansive life. Particularly when you have that with the sun, right? These two suns, when they come together in that way. Oh, beautiful if you can make that work. And you know, you're learning and growing and evolving both together and as the relationship. But when it doesn't work, you swing between attraction and a little bit of admiration, but also resentment. There's so much resentment that builds up in this pairing, right? Saturnian energy on the lower end of the spectrum is like just completely resentful energy, because I can't have that because of them, you know. There's limits. I can't be that because it's limits, and you become more resentful, and it eats away on you. So if you have any more questions about this particular aspect, please let me know. And if you want to see any other videos that I haven't done yet about any other aspects, you You can also mention that below. And yeah, have a beautiful week, and I'll see you in the next video.